Greydon Square is an atheist rapper and founder of the creative science collective Grand Unified. His music deals with philosophical issues, including atheism and science, political issues, the war in Iraq, and his experiences as a soldier.
Any more entries you got in your journal? You're distracted by the sex appeal. Me? The infinitesimal in the rotation of vector fields. The seventh seal is in heaven revealed. It's you testing it. Everybody ready to build a new reverence. Sever the Old and New Testaments that just got the best of the fools who accepted it. The lesson is no one has a monopoly on the truth. Not a church of God, a party, not even you.
So I want to get to your military experience, Greydon, but first let's start with where'd you grow up and what was the situation in which you grew up?
Well, first, thank you for having me on the show.
No problem.
Grand Unified. Basically, I grew up as a ward of the court in the system of California. Originally, I'm from the Los Angeles area. I'm from Compton originally, and you know, early on my life had a lot to do with programming with gangbanging and programming with institutionalism. And early on, although I had an affinity for music and had a passion for music, you know, I was a little troublemaker. I was, you know, running around trying to attach myself to something that, to be quite honest, didn't really care about me at all. And I didn't understand that. So when you're young and you want something to belong to, you know, you attach yourself to gangs, you attach yourself to groups that don't have your best interests in mind. When I got a little bit older and, you know, I was on my way to early adulthood, I made a decision to go to the military about 5 months before 9/11. And so I was thinking, like a lot of people, hey, I'll just go for some college money and I'll change my life around, blah, blah, blah. And 9/11 happens early in that period. So my life changed forever in the sense that I knew that I was going to be directly affected by these events. So as a 21-year-old young Army soldier, I was deployed to Iraq. I was attached to 82nd Airborne Infantry Division, and I was attached to 270th Armored Division. And you know, while I can't, you know, get into too much of the specifics of my deployment, let's just say that it was a life-changing experience. I went to the military, you know, to have a life-changing experience, but it didn't come in the form that I thought it would. It came in a completely other form. So, you know, I think my childhood, my past had a lot to do with programming, and one of those programs was religion, and I carried that system of programming throughout my childhood and early into my adulthood, and didn't start questioning it until, you know, I had already come home and basically gotten out of the military and started going to school.
Yeah, so did you consider yourself like a religious person up until you were still, you know, in the military?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always questioned. I definitely wasn't the typical monotheist who bought things hook, line, and sinker, or based on faith. You know what I mean? Like, I was the type of person that asked a lot of questions anyway. I was a very analytical, critical mind growing up, and while I didn't apply it to all aspects of my life because I didn't have the experience to, I think religion and the things that were being taught to me as religious teachings, I did scrutinize very heavily. And, you know, when you're young, like I said, you don't have the experience to know that an adult is telling you something that you think is complete BS.
Right.
It's just the timing and circumstances, and hopefully you had a good foundation of being raised so that you could combat that type of bully thinking. So
is being an atheist a bigger deal in the African American community?
You know, I would think so, simply because our community tends to be more religious. A lot of our social glue has been religion throughout our history a lot of times. And that's not to say it's been the only influence. Sure, there have been some secular African American influences, but not a lot. We know that it's been a primary Christian and somewhat Muslim dominated culture. So I think it is kind of a big deal because, Jesus and Christianity is pretty sacred in the black community. And anytime you question your community on something as closely held as a religious belief, you're going to get some blowback. Absolutely.
When we think about some of the issues that disproportionately affect black Americans, although really they're socioeconomic issues, but particularly in this country, they're of particular interest to the African American community: incarceration, child poverty, a number of different things. Do you think that the black community might be better off in advancing politically and socioeconomically if religion were less of a factor?
Well, yes, and there's a long answer, but I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. I think the reason why that's true is because maybe if we're focused on real issues like our community, like education, I mean, it's kind of hard to teach any kid who has been trained to critically think about things that a God is responsible for a slave trade that brought you here. It's hard to ignore the real issues when you're not worried about fictional issues. Because at the end of the day, I mean, people know my position. I argue that it's complete BS and you're wasting your time. All that time and energy can go towards your community and advancing, I think, the agenda of education, the ability to sustain yourself, the ability to support yourself, the ability to support your family, the ability to make smart and informed decisions. And a lot of that did not exist, where I came from. We weren't taught how to make informed decisions. I didn't even really learn how to make decision making until I went into the Army. So, a lot of us we almost have these shortcomings to overcome before we even get to the point where we address the religion because of the way that our communities are broken down.
We've been speaking with Greydon Square, atheist rapper and founder of the creative science collective Grand Unified. Greydon, where can people look you up online?
Well, I'm on Twitter, obviously, as Greydon, Greydon, squares in the shape. No spaces. You can also find us on Facebook. The letter R, Grand Unified. You can just Google me, and I guarantee you, if it has Greydon Square on it, that's me. So.
All right. Thanks so much for being on with us, Greydon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be back with plenty more after this. Stay tuned.
Peace.